What is up, y'all? Will, you're with Schedulefly, and this is the Restaurant Owners Uncorked podcast brought to you by us here at Schedulefly. Super simple, web-based restaurant employee scheduling software backed by legendary customer service. And you go, what does legendary mean? Well, one thing it means is that my personal cell phone is on our Schedulefly public website on like 3 pages, and you can call it or you can text it. It's a flip phone, but it does get text. But we take personal service very seriously for our customers. And then we were at a low price point. We haven't raised our prices since we started the business in 2007. So super simple way to schedule your staff and communicate with your staff. Great customer service, low price point. We're bootstrapped. We're not venture backed. So we've been able to run a profitable business at a very affordable price for a long time. 30-day free trial. So if you're on pencil and paper or Excel or like Google Sheets or something like that, we'll make life easier. Owner, manager, teammates, they want the app. They want everything on their phone. It's an easy way to communicate with everybody. Get rid of all the phone calls and fire drills with shift trades and time off requests and call outs and things like that. Make life easier. And then if you're on another scheduling software, you may be perfectly happy. We would love for you to give us a shot or just even call me, because we are typically 50% or sometimes 70% less expensive for the same tools, features, bells, and whistles that you're looking for. So schedulefly.com, 30-day free trial. That is enough about Schedulefly. We're going to get into this awesome episode. I'm so fired up to do this episode. I'm already jacked up from our pre-episode conversation with Julian. So Julian, if you wouldn't mind, just take a minute and introduce yourself.
How's it going, everybody? So my name is Julian Boyd. I'm the CEO and owner of Debo's Wings, based out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. All right. But you are in Atlanta.
Yes. So I split time between Atlanta and Memphis. I live in Atlanta with my wife, but I'm in Memphis at least 1 or 2 weeks out of every month, supporting the franchisees that we have there, but also running our corporate location that we have there as well.
Okay. Got it. So I think you said you've listened to, an episode or two. I mean, my style and our like kind of the way we roll on here is the only thing I ask everybody is your backstory. Like, how and when did you initially and I read, of course, but how initially did you get into hospitality? Like, where did you get the hospitality bug? And then we just kind of roll from there, man. We just flow like water and talk about whatever makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So I was kind of born in it. So Debo started August 2nd, 1990. We started out of a food truck and had as many as 6 locations open at once in the Memphis, Tennessee market. I was born in November 89. So, I'm a little bit older than Debo's, but it's always easy for me to track my age, because it's like, okay, if Debo's is 35, I just got to add a year to it. So we've been around for 35 years. We're known as the Godfather of hot wings in Memphis, because before we opened, there were no wing restaurants in Memphis at all. The name Debo's comes from my dad's nickname in high school and college is Debo. His name is David Boyd. My older brother's name is David Rodell Boyd II. My dad and my mom, David and Latisha Boyd, they started Debo's. They took about 2 years testing out the flavors on friends and family. And then once they had it together, they developed Debo's Hot, the Debo's Mild, the Debo's Season. And we started out of a food truck, and then things just kind of took off from there.
So a food truck in 1990?
Yeah, it was I call my dad a pioneer. He was ahead of his time with everything. But the true challenge was, you're trying to open an undeveloped concept that nobody's buying wings. Wings are the scraps back in the day. Nobody's opening wing restaurants. He had this great idea because he went to Morehouse College, same college that I went to, Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. And him and my mom were coming back from a Morehouse homecoming. They stopped at a wing place on the way home, and they were like, there's nothing like this in Memphis. Imagine if we brought this concept there. So after they got the flavors down, tested out on the friends and the family, at that point, they want to go and test it out to see if this will really work. So my dad's working as a manager at FedEx at the time. My mom's a flight attendant. But one of the most important things was he was like, I should have the capital to do this. I don't have a couple of real estate properties. The banks did not believe it. They said no, no, no. But my father was never somebody that was going to accept no as an answer. So he took 5 credit cards, maxed them out to their $8,000 limit, and purchased a food truck. So He never took no for an answer, always finding a way to pivot and making the dream come true. And then he was able to purchase his first food trailer, which we still have today. It doesn't work, but it's still there. We're going to put that in the Memphis Depot's museum. So it still sits on the parking lot of our corporate location. And that thing is it's the legend started there, right outside in East Memphis, right outside of a hardware store, which is probably a mile away from where our corporate location is now. And that first year just survived on word of mouth. Sometimes he'd sell just a Coca-Cola, but sometimes he'd sell a lot of wings, but things just started to pick up and pick up. And then after a year, he was able to purchase his first brick and mortar location right on Kirby Parkway and Knight Arnold in East Memphis. And then think we're in that after 2 years after that, opened his second location on Elvis Presley Boulevard, which is right maybe a mile away from Graceland, where Elvis Presley's house still sits to this day. And actually, that location was opened on Super Bowl of 1993. The reason I always remember that was my younger brother's birthday. So my dad literally came to the hospital, cut the cord, then had to run back to open on the biggest day of the year. And so, my mom was like, "I can't believe you came in here and did this." But he's like, "Baby, we got three babies. We got to pay these bills. Got to make it happen." And so it's we have a lot of we're family first. We have put God first, family
Mm,
first, and we just
mm.
have a love of hospitality. And Debo's is built on high quality food and high quality customer service, and that's what we're looking to take as we're growing in different markets.
Man, there's so much about that story that I love so much. First of all, it's that, here's your dad working at FedEx. Your mom, you said, was a flight attendant,
Yep.
but your dad clearly had distinct signs of being an entrepreneur, because part of being an entrepreneur is a big part is knowing what you want to accomplish and politely not listening to the people that say no and don't believe, and finding a way. And that's what honestly separates a lot. Like, a lot of people would have been like, okay, the banks aren't going to do anything. I've got a safe job at FedEx. I guess maybe I should just do that. But not being willing to take no for an answer opens up your mind to find ways, even if it's maxing out a bunch of credit cards. And I have had people on here that have done that. I've heard that story, and I love that,
Hmm.
because that's the internal confidence to believe, yes, I'm taking a risk, but I believe that if we stick to these core values that I know are important in a business, we will find a way to make this work. And that sounds like what he and your mom brought, the energy and the attitude and the instincts they brought to the.
Absolutely. And growing up in the business, my Fridays and Saturdays were spent at the restaurant when I was a child. So it's just, we're here until we close. And so, like, my older brother, David, and we would get bored sometimes and, okay, let's go play on the cash register. Let's go ring up some orders. So now I'm learning how to count cash at an early age. And so as we grow into teenagers, now, we're working in the restaurant, we're working the food trailer. And then now we're working in the restaurant throughout high school. And now, probably by the age of 16, I knew how to do everything in the kitchen at this point. And I'm just like, wow, what do you mean? And so all of my other friends are working at different places. And I was like, nah, I'm going to work at the family business. And so it was so funny because my older brother, he always wanted to, his goal was always to take over the family business, do all of those things. And for me, I just wanted to, focus on growth, eventually go to culinary school, open my own like fine dining restaurants. Like, that's always been a goal of mine. In 2007, right after his freshman year at Morehouse, my older brother passed away in a car accident. And so that changed the trajectory for all of us. And at that point, I was like, okay, got to put the family first. I'm going to focus on how we can do this Debo's thing. I'm going to, I went to Morehouse, graduated after 4 years, just like our dad did, just like my brother. He wasn't able to graduate, but he would have graduated class in 2010. I graduated in 2012. And my younger brother, Corey, he graduated from Morehouse in 2015. But after I graduated, I started working at Raytheon Corporation, which is an aerospace and defense contractor for the government, and their financial leadership development program. Knew I wanted to get back to the family business. Had a conversation with my father, like, Dad, I want to come back. But he was like, well, Julian, I can teach you everything I know, but that's not going to take us to where we're looking to go. And so at that point, I decided to go to business school. So I went to the University of North Carolina, Keenan Flagler Business School. I was able to get a full ride through the consortium fellowship program. UNC was a top entrepreneurship school, the only school at the time that had a family business concentration. So it all fell in line. And then it was one of the schools that my older brother always wanted to go to as well. And so it's funny how God just works things out. And, the path was just laid out from there. After I got my MBA in 2018, I decided to pursue, nobody teaches you franchising, but I was able to find a great mentor. His name is Greg George. Actually, he's the president of the Peach Cobbler Factory, which has been taken off recently. Like they've got so many units open. When he took me under his wing, just showed me the ins and outs of the importance of franchise sales, franchise real estate, marketing, and just all these different elements. And from that point forward, I was able to go forward and start working with a series of different concepts, helping them grow through franchising, learning a lot more. And after that, took all that knowledge and applied it to Debo's. And so now, to date, we have a location in Jacksonville, but we're looking to get open in several markets as well. We're looking to do something in Atlanta, eventually Chicago, and we've got some potential opportunities in the Houston market as well. But it's just it's a blessing. And so now we're just being very strategic. We want to be intentional with the partners that we're going to grow with. We want to work with those high quality prospects that have that established restaurant experience that, they know what a Friday or Saturday is going to look like. They've got the capital, they've got those high morals, and they've got that vision, that same vision that we had 35 years ago. Like, hey, if we set this up in this market, doesn't matter if it's a big city like a Houston or a college town like a Chapel Hill, because Debo's has high quality customer service and high quality food, it's going to be successful. We just have to follow the operation and stick to the blueprint and go from there.
You've mentioned faith a couple of times. Talk about that. And I'm assuming you were raised obviously in a family where faith is important and God comes first.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that, how that influences the values that you have built the business on.
I don't think you can make it far in life without putting something before you. You have to believe in something. Some people call it God, the universe. For us, I pray when I wake up in the morning, I pray in the middle of the day, and I pray at night, every night. I pray for my family. I pray for my beautiful wife. I just got married recently in June. My wife Elena, she's truly special. But I'm just thankful. So it's even. You never get too high. You never get too low. You stay even keel no matter what, because tomorrow your entire life can change. Like, ever since my brother passed away, God was the only thing that was able to keep my family going, because we had to come together, and it's something we still deal with and navigate every day. But honestly, my older brother's name was David Rodell Boyd II. So every time there's a Debo's anywhere, that's my older brother's name. And so that's my driving force. So it's like opening more locations is my way of being able to tell his story. How can I share the story of the love that my family has for each other to help us grow, get better, and just share that love through food, through hospitality?
You part of faith is putting others before yourself, right? Is serving with a servant's heart. I think it is one of the core foundational principles of any great hospitality business. It is, you won't find a great hospitality business that doesn't have a team of people that are very service oriented and really are there to try to make their customers' day better and leave with a smile. Great food, great experience, presence, intention, and the goal being, we want you to enjoy this experience so that you will, well, as Donnie said on the Lola Beans one, it closes the decision loop. I liked what he said about that. Once that decision loop has been closed, then that's the customer that you can get people to come in your doors once. Sure. You want them to keep coming back. And such a big part of that is the people and the intention they have with those guests.
It's funny you say that, because my dad, while working at FedEx, he brought one of those concepts back to Debo's. He always talks about how he went through this management training and it changed the way that he looked at just business and just life in general. It's people service profits. If you take care of the people, you give them amazing customer service, your profits are going to flourish. And so that's one of the things that we instill in, our team. We instill that in our franchisees. It's you have to put the people first, and they're going to come back every time. That's why when customers walk in, we make sure our staff greets them. It's a great day at Debo's. When we answer the phone, it's a great day at Debo's. This is Julian. How may I help you? And it's just that constant customer service. Thank you for coming to Debo's. It's just that constant gratitude. We've been around for 35 years, and we're one of the oldest Black-owned businesses in Memphis, one of the oldest businesses in Memphis. And that's because the city of Memphis has shown us a lot of support throughout the years, so much so that we're a staple in the city of Memphis. Our Elvis Presley location is maybe 10 minutes from the airport. It's a tourist destination. Folks stop by coming from Chicago, Detroit, California, all over just to get some of those amazing wings. And it's so interesting because Memphis it got coined the hot wing capital of the world by, I think, Food Beast earlier this year. We've been calling it that for the last 35 years because we know what we've done to it. So when they can't tell the story of Memphis without telling the story of Debo's. Memphis is known for barbecue and blues, but because of Debo's, it's known for wings. We say that with a lot of pride. And we love it because we originated the Memphis style hot wings, and we're looking to share that with as many customers as possible.
People, service, profits. I love that because I believe intently that when people and service come first, the profits follow, but they are the byproduct. A lot of businesses focus so much on the profit that they lose the people, the service. In other words, like we're looking at this box in an Excel spreadsheet, that doesn't tell the story of what makes the business great. What makes the business great are things that are not as measurable, but are our core values and our culture. And if we're able to lean into those and make those our foundation, and then in your case, find the right franchise partners that are also bought into that, which is why you've got to be very particular about who you choose, because that is such a core part very clearly of what y'all do and why you've been successful.
Absolutely. And we've learned to be patient with the process too. I think I just turned 36. I think in the last 5 years, that's been the most important lesson that I've learned. Be patient and enjoy the journey as it's going, because you're only going to get one shot at this thing. But I'm looking forward to working with folks that are like-minded. They have that strong foundation in faith. They understand the importance of profit, but profit doesn't define everything. That's going to happen. I value relationships more than I value money. And I have to thank my parents for instilling that in all three of us. It's like, listen, all of this can go away. None of this matters. If we had to start over from scratch, we do that, but we would still have each other at the end of the day. And that's all that matters that's what matters more than anything.
Absolutely. Well, talk a little bit about, so you've talked about hot wings, but I'm looking at your awesome, by the way, hoodie, Debo's Daiquiris Wings Seafood. So let's dive into how the offering has expanded over the years.
In the restaurant industry, you have to constantly evolve. It's one of the most important lessons that my parents have shown us time and time again. I've seen our concept evolve. Every 5 years, we add something different to it. We first started just off with wings. Eventually, we added burgers. Then we added the fried catfish. And then we added the boiled seafood. Probably around 26, dipped our toe into the daiquiri piece. So my family loves New Orleans. My parents also have a home there. So it's we've added that element to it. So in about 29, we added the boiled seafood to it. We took our Elvis Presley location. This is before we had franchised it out. We shut down the inside, did a complete renovation, built in a full bar, and installed 6 daiquiri machines. At that point, we were able to really lean into it. And this is pre-COVID. So then you'll see the world shuts down. But because our concepts are quick service, and then Tennessee started allowing to go alcoholic beverages, we thrived during that COVID period. And so then we were really able to lean into that identity like, wow. So not only do we have the Debo's wings, the Debo's Express, but the Debo's daiquiris, wings, and seafood. Now we have a way to highlight every one of our menu items, and those daiquiris are a draw. When we've opened in certain markets, those daiquiris will be flying off the shelves. And so now that's become part of our strategy. When we're looking to open, we're not going to force every franchisee might not want to sell alcohol for whatever reasons. We're not going to enforce that. But it's an element that if you add it to your business, it's gonna add to that revenue. It's gonna add to that bottom line. And once we started paying more attention to that, it was like, okay, not only have we added this element to it, but now that we've leaned into it, allowed it to become part of our brand identity, now we can tap into a resource that, with the cost of fluctuating food costs, it's always going to change. The cost of chicken is always going to fluctuate. We're always looking at ways to strategically make sure that our businesses are going to maintain profit. The daiquiris really helped with that. But we're not just, pouring some sugar ice in there. We did a lot of research and due diligence to make sure that we're working with the best daiquiri companies that we can find to be able to provide those high quality products to our customer base. And, the results speak for themselves. So now you'll see Debo's daiquiris, wings, and seafood as well.
I want to try some of that fried catfish.
Man, it's a hit.
I bet it is. I bet it is. So, okay. So where are we now? How many corporate owned? How many franchise? How
So
many?
we have That's a great question. So to date, we have one corporate on store. That's our Debo's Riverdale location that's located in East Memphis. That's the store where we would train our franchisees at. We also have our Debo's Elvis Presley location, which was a corporate owned location until we franchised it out in 2022. And we have a franchise location in Jacksonville, Florida right now.
Okay. And talk about the customers that are like, do you have a lot of sit down space, or is it take the food and go delivery? Like get into that
It,
mix.
we trained our Memphis customers. Memphis is a grab and go place. Most folks aren't sitting down and eating. They want to grab their food, enjoy it at home. They're going to utilize the DoorDashes, the Uber Eats, the online orders, the third parties. So fortunately, it gives us 6 revenue streams. Once Tennessee stopped allowing to go alcoholic beverages, we had to adapt our strategy. So now we're creating more customer experiences. The brunches on Sundays, the karaoke nights on Wednesdays, and these things have really picked up since we started doing them over the last few months. So we're happy to see those results at both Memphis stores. We started doing live music at the Elvis Presley location on Sundays, and that's bringing in a whole different type of crowd. So now folks are eating, drinking, and spending more with us, and they're enjoying the experience overall because that's what it's about. We've also done comedy nights. Our Jacksonville location is our full service location. It's got waitresses. It's got a large bar, can probably seat 100. I think 120 is the capacity in there, 14 TVs. It's been doing its thing. And so it required us to have even more daiquiri machines. You have the 6, like our corporate store has 4. That location has 6. Man, Florida is such a different customer base than Tennessee. So now you have to adapt to those things. Like their eating patterns are a little bit different. They're going to eat more seafood than they're going to eat chicken. In Memphis, everybody's eating fried chicken, everything. Fried chicken, fried everything. In Jacksonville, we added more vegetables, more veggie items. So you make small adaptations to the menu, but nothing that takes it too far out of brand. We're not selling like, barbecue ribs or anything like that. But it still keeps the brand integrity there with that quality control piece.
Where in Jacksonville are you? Out near the beach? Are you in town or?
On the west side, so right on 901 King Street. So we're right there located on the west side in Riverside. That's what the area is. So it's like right on off Riverside. I mean, it's like I've driven like 5 minutes to the river. So right on the corner of 901 King Street, near, I think, Kickback's Gastro Pub is right across the street. That's a spot that's been there for, I think, over 25, 30 years. The owner there, he was really nice. The Jacksonville community has been really warm and welcoming to us. And we just brought some of that Memphis flavor to them. And so, we're appreciative of all the business that we've been able to get there since they opened last August.
Since they opened last August. Okay. Good. Jacksonville's a nice growing market. Where do you have your eyes set next? Where do you think where do you have plans?
Man, I love Atlanta. I'm always excited to get another opportunity in Atlanta. I think there's some true opportunities in Texas. So that's one we truly have our eye on right now. We're in super early talks right now. We'll see how it plays out. But we've got some opportunities lined up for Texas, Atlanta, and I would say we have one that could end up taking place in Chicago in the Midwest. And so we've got our eye on a couple of things. But 2026 is looking like it's going to be a big year for us. And so we're looking forward to finding those high quality franchisees. But we're open to the markets. We're really trying to stay in that southeastern region because that way we can control that growth. We have a really good understanding of the Florida market, the Atlanta market, even the West Memphis, Arkansas market, and Texas. And anywhere in the Michigan area, we've had success there previously. Because we've had success in Michigan, we think that will open the doors for that Chicago market as well. So pretty much the Southeast and the Midwest.
Gotcha. Okay. And so so you've got this different footprint you've tried out there in Jacksonville, a larger footprint, full service. And then how much, I want to get back to like you've got, and I guess this probably opened up a lot during COVID, is you start using DoorDash and delivery services. Like talk about how that's impacted.
And they're pivotal now. They're pivotal. They're for post COVID. You have to be on the third party platforms, and our DoorDash story is so unique because when we probably in 2019, I think we were on all the platforms, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and I think we were doing a little bit of Grubhub. But we started having these weird chargebacks that were taking place, and so my dad was telling me about them. Said every Monday he had to reach out to Uber Eats to tell them like, "Hey, we gave these customers this food. Here's the proof. We have the receipts. We have everything." And Uber would make sure that we're still being compensated. When we had the conversation with DoorDash, they were like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. We're like, but we've sent out the food, we're showing you the receipts and all these things. Oh, at that point, we popped off the platform because it's like, guys, you have to help us take care of our business. Otherwise, we can't do business with you. Fast forward to 2022, 2020. In 2022, we started using DoorDash again at another one of our franchises. And there were a lot of, and then DoorDash became like the number one online ordering platform, but we weren't using it at our Memphis locations at all. But then customers started requesting DoorDash, like, hey, you got to get Debo's on here. You got to get Debo's on here. You got to get Debo's on here. So DoorDash started reaching out to us. And so I started having conversation with the DoorDash team. And I was like, guys, this was our experience previously. We need to make sure our business is taken care of because we have a service that we committed to for our customers and we can't cut corners on that. And so from that point forward, DoorDash was like, oh, you have nothing to worry about. We're going to make sure you guys are taken care of. From that point forward, we've been rolling with DoorDash and they've been the number one platform for all of our businesses. And we've loved the experience ever since. And so even so with our online ordering, when we took over our corporate location earlier this year, we had an opportunity where we're using Toast, that's our POS system for our online ordering services. We're receiving a lot of chargebacks where customers would buy the food, say they didn't get it, and then we're doing all the things, chargeback challengers, utilizing all these different processes to let them know, hey guys, we're doing this. Like we're taking care of things on our end. Can you guys help protect us? Oh, we lost like over $5,000 over 2 months because it was like right after Super Bowl. So I mean, I'm getting hit with a $300 chargeback, $400, 500. I mean, like 10
Yeah.
at a time. Oh, at that point, I was like, oh no, 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 you're not going to protect us. We're going to take our business elsewhere. So I started doing some more research, and I remembered we were about to. We utilized DoorDash storefront previously, but we didn't have it as our primary online ordering platform. So at that point, I was like, okay, hold on. Let me reach out to DoorDash, my DoorDash rep right now, just ask some questions. I was like, guys, do you provide any kind of chargeback protection? They're like, oh yeah, 100%. We require the multi-factor authenticated. I was like, absolutely. We're about to convert everybody to DoorDash. It wasn't even a question. I let our franchisees know the transition was coming. I got through all the steps. I made sure I sat down with the DoorDash team, asked my questions, made sure our menu would be consistent, the compliance was there, and then they walked me through the importance of using on how to use it properly with the CRMs. Oh, we made that transition happen within 30 days, and we've had a great experience ever since.
Hats off. Like that's a great story of a business that, had to make adjustments and tweaks and listen to the customer and change the way they responded. And they've done a great job for that. So that's
Mhm.
really cool. Love hearing that. Tell me about what are our headwinds right now? Like what are some of the headwinds that you are looking at that are, sort of macro? I mean, protein prices are up, labor costs are up.
Man,
What's the thing that like you think about the most, Julian?
man, how do you not outprice your customers, right? You can only charge so much for a 10 piece. So instead of increasing the price, I have to find a way to sell more of them. Like, how can I maximize the value of the customers, give them something that they truly want? For me, it's so we started adding new menu items. So we added our Debo Smash Burger, which has been an extreme success. We added some loaded fries. They love that because it's pretty much our Philly cheesesteak or our shrimp cheesesteak or our shrimp po' boy on top of the fries with some good old cheese. Oh, they're loving it. And then we added the fried chicken, which has been a game changer because we've always fried chicken, but we've never gone with the full, the Popeyes, the we do whole wings, but we never done the drumsticks, the thighs, and the other forms of dark meat. Once we added those proteins on it, oh, those things have been flying off the shelf. And then once, because we soft launched it at our Debo's Elvis Presley location, then we rolled it out at the Debo's Riverdale location a few months ago, and the sales have just been picking up day to day. So now we're ordering 2 to 3 times as much as we were ordering 3 months ago. And just being intentional with the marketing element of it, offering value deals. It's like, okay, one of the things that I was really adamant about pushing this summer was the $9.99 lunch special. I saw what Chili's was doing and the impact that they were having on just the restaurant scene altogether with offering like you get a burger, you get a drink and a side for $10.99. I was like, guys, we can do a $9.99 lunch special. That'll help us create more awareness for these catfish sandwiches, the catfish po' boys, the shrimp po' boys, the chicken sandwiches, these fantastic menu items that we offer. Because folks that are coming to Debo's, they're going to get the wings. It's like everything on our menu sells. We don't have any dead space in our walk-in cooler. And then we also have to have the veggie items for, those that don't eat meat. So we have the fried cauliflower wings, the veggie chicken sandwich, the Mem Possible Burger. That's the play on Memphis for us. The Debo's Mem Possible Burger, and it's delicious. My younger brother's actually vegan, so he's the one that kind of taught me a lot about that. So I was like, we have to tap into this market because we don't want to leave anybody. We don't want to. I don't want you to have to come to Debo's and you can only get some fries or some of our corn or something like that. No, I want you to get some of your protein too, the way that you would like to get it, and we're going to make sure that it's prepared the right way.
Love it. Yes. Okay. Um, have you ever heard of a company called, you probably haven't, it's fairly new, but it's called 5 Out?
5 Out? No, I haven't. Tell me more about them.
They do, it's like 5-out.io. I'll get you connected with them if you want to learn more. But basically, they're using AI to do predictive analytics to help operators understand what you're, like they're integrated in with Toast and they're integrated, like,
Hmm.
what are your sales going to be over the next, I think they do up to like 35 days. How much product do you need to order? How much labor do you need to schedule? What's going on in your town? What's the weather going to be like? So it helps you really dial in the efficiency of like, operating the business and making sure that you're maximizing your margin, that you are, keeping your labor costs and your food costs where they need to be with like data and information. Pretty cool. Started by a guy named Brandon McCrill. We had him on the podcast. He's like a Michelin star winning restaurant owner who built this for his own restaurants
Oh
and went,
yeah.
you know, this is a product, like, and so they turned it into 5 Out. And now I'm really high on what they're doing. I think it's very useful.
And
And
AI it's the wave now. You have to figure out how to use AI. And I was about to say that's another one of the things that we've been focusing on. How to use AI in restaurants to help predict those labor costs, predict those food costs. It's hard to find good help, but you want to make sure you're efficiently using them. So that's something that I'm constantly working with our team on, constantly stressing to our team, guys, you got to track your flow. If you know you're slower during Monday and Tuesday, you need to have your team stacked appropriately. But from Thursday to Sunday, we're rocking and rolling. That's when we're primarily generating most of our revenue. So you want to make sure that you're locked and loaded at that point, but you have to manage your labor. Our target labor is somewhere 24% or less. That's where you want to be. That's what our sweet spot has been. Anything more than that, what are you guys doing? We have to get better. And there's always room for improvement, but we know what our milestones are across the board. Food costs, you can't really control that, but we're making sure that we're ordering efficiently. We know what we're selling the most of and we're tracking that, and we should never run out of anything. If customers want that fried okra, we better have fried okra. If customers want those fries, we better always have fries, and we can never run out of wings. So it's like staying on top of those. That's what we coach our team on. That's what we work with them on. And that's what we work with our suppliers on to make sure that we're getting the best price for these things as well.
there's another company, Julian, called Food Service IQ. Highly recommended. They have a proprietary formula for making sure, and you have to have a certain amount of food spend, but you guys, I would imagine, especially across your locations, you have this. They will save you an average of 5 to 7% on your food cost. And if they don't save you at least 4%, you don't pay them a dime. So if they
Oh,
save you
wow.
4%, and they work with both the distributors and the manufacturers, and they have a proprietary formula. Like they're like, we're not telling you how we're doing it, but it works. And we've got customers we got customers with, you know, 30-year track records of running restaurant groups with 15 to 20 locations that we turn on to it. And I'm like, they're like, it is. And we don't really like, it's working well. So there's a lot of, these types of companies now that are really helping people dial this stuff in. And it's pretty interesting to see.
And we're interested in them because we're always looking for ways to improve, especially if we're headed down a growth track. That's the type of support that we want to be able to provide our franchisees with. It's like, guys, listen, We're always looking for ways to help save you costs and help you earn more profit at the bottom line, because it's not about the top line. Top line looks good from a corporate level. That bottom line is what keeps these locations open. So
That's
we
right.
can help you track that even better. Then that's going to help us. That's going to help us from a longevity standpoint and have more units that are open.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You
Mhm.
guys, you said you use Toast for your point of sale.
Yes, we use
Ever-
Toast.
Have you ever talked to Square?
We did talk to Square. One of the things that grabbed me with Toast, we were using Clover for maybe like 10 years. But
Uh-huh.
then what helped me pivot to Toast was we started using it at one of our other locations. Clover, I had 5 tablets in the restaurant, like, and that was killing us because if one tablet goes down, now I'm missing orders, I'm missing revenue, I'm missing sales. I got to have outlets for every one of these things to keep in charge. I've had tablets burn up, melt, just nuke themselves. And I'm just like, on a Friday night, I'm just like,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
no. So once we found out that Toast has everything integrated, I was like, okay, this is I like it from this standpoint. As an operator, I love the support that it gives us, the 24/7 support. That's one of the things. My only knock on them was the chargeback piece, but it was everything else Toast provides. They do a really good job. I love the email distribution to be able to like interact with customers, the loyalty program. So because some every customer is different. I love points. So I'm going to track where I have points and use those because I'm a repeat customer. So you have to incentivize them to come back. But that third party integration has been very, very key for us because you have to have those third party integrations. And so even with us using DoorDash storefront, we still receive some online orders from Toast, but I would say it's probably 90% coming to DoorDash storefront and the rest is coming through Toast. And so we don't get as many chargebacks now. We might get one a month for like $20. I'll take that versus like a $3,000 month, that's hitting the bottom line directly.
There's 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 one more company that we've seen that's been really effective called Check This Out.
Mhm.
So what they do is, this is again developed by a restaurant owner, solved his own problem, realized he had a solution for the industry, but it's text-based marketing. And there's a lot of that out there, but what's unique about Check This Out is that it has a built-in referral program. So
Mm.
it's like scaling word of mouth. So you get this, but you get credit or points or whatever at Debo's if you refer your friends and family or whatever.
Mhm.
And like that starts to snowball. And I've been like blown away at how effective it is, at helping people get butts in seats, particularly, right now. Like it's how do you take word of mouth and put some gas to the fire and scale that? And Nicholas, and Check This Out, is, as far as I can see, has figured that out, which has been very interesting.
And see, it's these elements now are where the value is for restaurant. The restaurant support tech. Because it's
Yeah.
a cloud now. How can I get more customers? How, like, you're in a constant state of ask yourself that question because you don't want to outprice yourself. You don't want to offer things discounted to the point to where you're losing revenue, you're losing profit on these things. But how can I drive those incremental sales and increase that average ticket cost? Like that's one of the things that our coach Derek works with us all the time on. How can we drive those incremental sales on a consistent basis for each location? And so that's been one of the benefits too. I've had the last couple of years working with our operating partner, Derek. He's really taken me under his wing. I'm listening. I'm always open to feedback. You can be as direct as you need to be with me because I tell everybody, I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. I'm gonna be as humble as you can. I don't know everything. I know what I know, and the things I don't know, I want to learn those things. And the only way to learn is through direct feedback so you can identify where your critical growth opportunities are. And once those are identified, now you have the true work begins.
Growth mindset, man. There's a book called Mindset that I highly recommend to people. We had to read it when our kids were young in school because our school was really into the growth mindset. So by Carol Dweck, there's a growth mindset. There's a fixed mindset. Fixed means do you know the book?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I mean, like if you have the fixed mindset, don't be an entrepreneur for sure. And don't
I do it.
expect, you have to have that mindset of like, I don't know everything and I'm always learning. I'm always growing, and not knowing something is actually good because it gives me an advantage to add to my tool set and learn something new. And your mindset, Julian, is awesome. I mean, it's just been trickling like all through this whole conversation that you've got clearly passed down through your parents, and your family has this of like, you know, having foundation in faith, putting service first, and then always just having, and again, this is a lot of times has to do with faith, which is the humility. Humility comes with that. Ego is not part of that. It's humility of knowing I don't know everything and I'm always here to learn and I will impart what I can, but I also want to learn always and continue to improve and grow. And you clearly have that mindset. And it's a very important part of, I believe, of being an entrepreneur and building a business and scaling a business and growing a business and building a legacy business that can endure is just having that mindset and fostering that mindset within your team.
One of our sayings as a team that my dad has passed down to all of us: there's no egos at Devos. I mean, we're here to learn and grow. No egos at Devos. We just, it doesn't work, and that comes from the top down. And so even when I'm working with my teammates, I don't call my employees my employees, we're teammates. We're in this thing together. I don't call my manager, you're my operating partner, because I need you focused on how to run this operation. I'm training you to be able to run a location. I'm not training you just to order food from our suppliers, be it US Foods, Cisco, Caravan, whoever we're using. It's no, you need to understand food costs. We're going to talk labor costs. We're going to manage all of these different elements of the business, because I want you to eventually be an owner of your own location one day, and you should own several locations one day. So that's the type of owner accountability that we create, and the way that we're able to communicate with one another. If they ask me for something, I'm going to go find the answer. I'm going to go find it. If I don't know it, we're going to go find it together. Like, that's how we're going to do it. If you bring me a problem, I'm going to bring you three solutions. But I also tell them the same thing. Don't just bring me a problem. Tell me what the problem is and already have three solutions that you're thinking through, and let's start talking through those. You know, that way you're able to take a lot more ownership of your decision making, because I need to instill confidence in you so we can get 100 more of these open. Like, that's what we're working toward now. How can we get 100 open and scale the right way and have a sustainable brand that it doesn't matter if we're in an airport, college campus, gas station, standalone units, it's going to have that same consistency across the board and represent the Devo's brand the way that we need it to represent.
No egos at Divas. I really love that, man. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
Do you, so I'm going to take a gander that you probably read a good amount, listen to podcasts. You seem to have
For
at least
sure.
great, like you're trying to learn. Like, what are some of the podcasts you listen to? What types of books do you like to read?
Man, Franchise Empires was one that started changing my life. It was called this guy, the Wolf of Franchises. That's what he
Oh,
called himself on social media. He had one of the best franchise podcasts. And like a couple years ago, I was like, I have to be more intentional about this. So I just searched franchising on podcasts. His popped up. Man, I started listening to it, and everybody I was on a podcast that I liked, I would start reaching out to the CEOs of those companies on Instagram, and I'd meet them either directly or indirectly, and was able to start making those connections. And then, this guy's kind of a mystery. You don't know who he is. But I met this guy out in Michigan, JT, while I had my location up there, and we were working together. He came to Debo's, loved the concept. And because I told him, he was like, he was tweeting about, man, Wingstop is killing it right now. I was like, bro, our wings are way better than Wingstop. Next time I'm in Michigan, come catch me at our location that we had up there at the time. He comes there, he was like, holy shit, you were telling the truth. These are incredible.
is this the
And
Wolf of Franchise guy?
That's how the and you can and you can't. And it doesn't help anybody with that. And I think that's one of the most important lessons that we've
Yeah, I
learned over
love
the
this so
years.
much.
There's more than enough out here for
We're
everybody to be
turning
able to thrive.
restaurant owners
You don't have to
uncorked
hold
into
anybody. You can't block anybody's
its own
blessing. What's
community.
for
Like
you
we've
is
been
going to be
on
for you,
600
and
and
what's
something
for them is
episodes.
going to be for them, and that
A lot
is
of great content in
okay.
there, but
Like,
what I've
if
learned is
anything, if
that
we can figure out a
people
ways to strategically
really want,
collaborate, everybody
like
can
people will
thrive.
say, hey, I
There's a
listened to all
Chick-fil-A
these
right across
episodes
from
and maybe
our
I'm
the street
driving and
from
I
our
don't remember
corporate-owned
who said
store. We
what, or I
love
got
it.
this
I
great
will
point.
open up
So we're going to have a
within
way
a
to
mile
like
of
just go
every
through all
Chick-fil-A,
the,
because
like
one,
you
they've
can
done the
type
due
in
diligence, the
keywords like lease
demographics, the
negotiation,
research that
every
needs to be
episode they had to
done.
do with
It's
that.
also a different
But we're
profile
going to
of
have a
chicken.
membership
It's not like
community
sandwiches and
where,
nuggets. Dude, we're
we're,
selling
you know,
wings
where
and fried chicken and
people
fried
are
catfish.
subscribing
So
to
your
be a,
customers, if
to
somebody's
like
going over
there's
there, they
Facebook
probably want to
groups
come
and
over
Reddit
to
forums
us
and those are
across the
great,
street
but
to get
like you don't
something
really
as
know
well.
who,
So no,
you
we
know,
want to
anybody
thrive.
can.
How can we
So we're going
thrive
to have this
together?
community
So
where
if
you
I see
can
a Chick-fil-A
subscribe
or a
and just
Starbucks close,
having
oh, we need to
restaurant
set up
owners
shop
help
over
other
there. So when
restaurant
we're
owners
doing
solve
our market
problems,
research
inspire each
on
other,
different
learn from
markets,
each other, connect
anywhere
with
that
each other,
that's happening,
and, you
absolutely.
know,
But I'm
take
also
all the
looking at,
content that
where
we're
is there a
creating and
Wingstop?
populate it in
Okay,
there, have
cool.
subject matter
Our product's better than
experts in
Wingstop. So
there.
I know if we're close to a
Because I
Wingstop,
think
we
about
can get
like,
some of that.
okay, so an
And there's
episode I'd
actually a
recommend
Wingstop
from
just
our
opened, like,
podcast
maybe,
for you to listen
walking
to
distance from where our Debo's
within the
Elvis Presley
last
location
month or
is.
two.
We're
It's
still killing it.
George
It's
and
not even
Amanda from
close.
Vicious
And
Biscuit.
they're open a little,
I
maybe
mean,
2 hours later than us or
do you know
something
who
like
they
that.
are?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't impact anything. It was funny seeing folks go over there when they
It's the
first
most,
opened. It's like, but then they all came back like,
it's
yeah, that was
phenomenal. And
terrible.
George and
We're
Amanda are two
sorry.
of the sharpest
We know what
operators I've
I
come
was like, guys,
across.
it's
And
okay. We're not offended.
that
We
episode's
know you're gonna come back. You
phenomenal.
come
And
here
so
3 times a week. You can go
then,
over
I mean,
there
there's a
once.
lot of
As long as you're
folks on
still coming
here.
here
If
twice,
you
we're
ever
good to
come
go.
across any of these episodes, Julian, that you listen to and you're like, don't DM them, just call me. Like, you know, cause oh yeah, I love folks and they love it too, right? Like this was so great about people in
Yes.
hospitality is it smarts most
Yes.
people, the
And then if
successful
it's
operators,
just a different profile. Then you add the
they have
daiquiris
a
to the mix,
mentality
man.
that, you
Listen,
know,
it's a
helping
different thing. And
others
so it's
helps
that being
the
intentional
industry
about that.
and
It's
connecting
funny,
with
like when
others
I'm
and a
in
rising
Atlanta, because we
tides
don't have
lifts
a
all boats
location here, I'm always
mentality.
craving our Debo
So
seasoned
I
wings.
think it's
Our
one of
in-house dry rubs, we sell it
probably one of the
online
most
on our website
collaborative
too. We put it on the wings, we put
industries
it on
in
the,
existence
the
where
steamed
people are
veggies,
really
the fried okra, the fries.
thoughtful
It's
and
that
intentional
dry
with their
rub. When I have
time
my
to help
shaker at home, I
others,
put it
just
on my
like you've been
eggs.
talking about
So
and
it's
all the
like
people. I
that's
mean,
my
like that's
favorite
just a
menu
common
item, and
thing
that's
in this
been a
industry.
fan
It's one of the things
favorite
I
of
love about
everybody
it.
because they're like, I can eat wings without being covered in sauce. Absolutely. It's like we try to have something for everybody. Our Debo's Honey Hot is that sweet heat. It's going to give you just enough kick. Our Debo's Hot is probably the same heat level as a Tabasco, but 100 times the flavor. Our Debo's Mild is going to give you all that flavor with none of the kick. So whatever your flavor profile is, and then people mix and match. Like they love to get the Debo's Hot with the season on top. And then, the strangest thing has been the lemon pepper craze that took over the last, 15 years or whatever. We were winning awards for lemon pepper back in 2002. So it's like, it's actually probably my least favorite flavor. Like I'm not a lemon pepper guy. Our Debo season is 100 times better than it. And most people just over season it anyway. So now you're tasting nothing but lemon and pepper. Now you're sneezing, but it's just like, that's how I know there's opportunity there. I'll put our wing, like actually, I don't think I told you this. We went to the National Buffalo Wing Competition and won a first place trophy in 2011 for the Debo season wing for the best creative wing. So, we've been voted best wings in the Mid-South for over like 25 plus years. Voted one of the top wing destinations by the U.S. Men's Journal in 2016. We've won so many awards, and awards are cool, but we're not in it for that. That's just a cool thing to be able to say. That's marketing. I love when folks come to the restaurant the first time and seeing them take that first
We
bite
do. And,
into our food.
you nailed it
And then my
because
first thing is you never had nothing like it.
you
It's
want
it's
other
it's different.
restaurants
It's
in your
you
city
can't
or your
recreate
town to
this
be
because this is
successful
what we're
because the
known for.
more
So being able to
success
share
they
that
have and
experience
the
with
more
different
you help each
customers
other,
in
the
different
more
markets,
people
that's
are
what I'm
out
looking
eating, the
forward
more
to.
people want to visit that town. I mean, look, there is one thing I know for sure is that every great small town or big city, if you start going, well, why is that place great? It's always going to come to the food scene, the hospitality scene. Like that's always in anybody's top five, like without fail. I mean, there's no two ways around it. And so, when you have that mentality, and again, where you're the service, the people, the profit will come. But that's true at like writ large at scale with the restaurant industry. And you're not competitors, your peers in your city or your town. You want everybody to. I'll never forget this. I'll never forget 2 years ago, I went to Greenville, South Carolina. This is another great episode. Carl Sobocinski, he runs Table 301 Group in Greenville, South Carolina. Carl Sobocinski is a legendary restaurateur in South Carolina, highly respected, just an incredible person. Has people that have been with him for 30 years that could have gone on and done all kinds of things and made a lot more money, but they love Carl so much they stay with him. That's the kind of guy this is. And when we were sitting in his restaurant, I went down there and did this in person, and we were doing this podcast episode, and they were right. Sobeys is his SOBY''. If you're ever in
And it's
Greenville,
all
go
about
there.
finding the folks
Right
that
across
fit
the street,
the
there's
brand.
two.
We've
There's a
had
new
franchises
Courtyard
before. Some
Marriott
folks fit better than
that's
others.
being
And
built, and
that's why
there's
we've
two
learned, hey,
really
listen,
nice
you know,
restaurants.
first time
Right in
entrepreneurs,
line with
great
like
opportunity.
Sobeys,
We're
like
thankful
higher
to have
end,
given those
high price.
opportunities. But
And I
the
was like,
most
does
important
that
lesson that we've
concern
learned
you
is we want to make
that
sure that
those two
everybody's on the
places are
same
going in across
page.
the
And when
street?
those
Is like,
revenues are going up, that we're
concern
staying
me.
on the same page. We don't
Will,
have to
I
pivot.
love
Let's
that.
just
Like,
follow
that
this
means that
franchise
more
model, this
people will be
franchise
coming
brand.
down to this
And
part
that's
of
why
the
it's so
street, and
important to just
that
make sure we're
they'll,
working with the
when
right
they
folks
want
that can just
pasta, they'll
stay
go to that one, and when
locked
they
in and
want
focused.
sushi, they'll
Hey,
go
if
there,
you
and
want
they
to work
want
with
like
Debo's to
classic
grow
American, they'll
Debo's,
come
we're going
here,
to
and
do it the
like
Debo's
we
way. We
need
can always be
that.
open
Like,
to
that's a
ideas, but
great thing,
let's
and
stay
I
open for
always
like
felt like
2 years before we
that's
start
the
making
mentality.
changes.
Like, that
We can make
mentality
small
right
tweaks,
there
but we don't need to make any
is
changes. You're
how
not going to
you
McDonald's and adding,
sustain what
steak
it
to
takes
the menu
to
or
be
ribs or something
successful
like
and
that.
to
But when
partner
McDonald's
with
wants to roll out
people
that
and
seasonal McRib,
befriend
you're going
people,
to do
not
that. So let's
compete
just
with
stick with what
people. And
works,
I
stick
mean,
with what
I
got you
mean,
here.
listen, I've taught
What
enough
kept us in the
restaurant
game
owners.
for
I know a
35 years? Our dedication to high
longtime
quality
customer of
food and
ours that's in
high
Chapel
quality
Hill
customer
and a
service. So
competitor,
as we're
same
looking to
concept,
bring
open
in
up
those
down the
high
street. And
quality
he was like,
franchisees that
they're
have the
in there like
capital, that restaurant
having
experience,
their
that are looking to
employees
grow
put
within an emerging
1-star
brand,
reviews on us. It's like
but one that
that.
has
And
a
guess
proven
what?
track
That
record of
place
success, not just in Memphis, but
didn't
other
last a
markets as
year.
well. I think
Wrong
Debo's could be a great
mentality,
fit.
wrong
And then, but
mindset,
being able to
never going
work
to
with a
work,
platform like
not going to
DoorDash
happen.
that's,
That is not the way
protecting
to
the
be
business with
successful in this
100%
business.
chargeback protection, like we're only going to work with partners that are going to help us grow intentionally and help protect the business. Like that's what our next 10 years is going to look like. Growing with the right folks. It's gonna happen, man. I love my time in Chapel Hill. My wife's from North Carolina. She's from Durham.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time before we get some locations open there as well. It's only a matter of time. 2018, class of 2018.
Oh,
Oh, for sure. For sure.
okay.
Sup Dogs is right there. My buddies used to love Sup Dogs. They used to go there after every Friday, Saturday night, going straight to Sup Dogs right there on Franklin Street. I remember they're right there on the other street. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I love what you said about Chick-fil-A. I mean, that's what Burger King followed
Mhm.
McDonald's around for, eating because, like, hey, they've done the research and there's going to be a lot of traffic there. Well, what better than everybody that drives
No, I
by to
never
see,
heard the
wait,
story.
Debo's, what is that? Huh? Let's try that sometime. Like, that's great
Yeah.
exposure.
Okay. Man, it's awesome. It's a matter of time. My mentor, Frank, he's man, he's a super UNC alum. Frank is he's one of the best mentors that I have. Man, he allowed me to use his house because I've been telling him about the wings like my whole time that I was there. He's like, Julian, you've been telling me about these wings all this time. Look, man, I'm gonna buy the wings, I'm gonna buy some food, invite like 40 of your classmates over. Come on and make the wings, man. I made those wings for Frank and his friends and my classmates. Frank was like, holy shit, Julian, I did not know. We got to get this open here. You got to bring this here to Chapel Hill. So ever since then, I told Frank, I'm like, Frank, I got you, man. We're going to make it happen. It's only a matter of time. And once again, that faith. God don't miss. And so I know everything that I speak my truth. I speak everything into existence and it always ends up working out. Oh, so that's happening. I gotta have one in Chapel Hill and I gotta have a few in the triangle. So that's a matter of time. Gonna happen.
Love it, dude. I love that. I
For
want to
sure.
respect your time. I will. There's one more episode I'd recommend. Check it out if you're interested. I just posted an episode with Alex Smerzniak, who he has a company called Franzi, and they are like Zillow for franchisors and franchisees, right?
Okay.
So if you're in corporate America and you're like, hey, I want to get out of this, I want to get into
I'm ready when you are.
franchising. I mean, they narrow down like
Good old
what
North Carolina.
industry, right? Because they're not just doing, restaurants, it's like all franchises. But then they
I will text you
pair
shortly.
the right person with brand. They
Okay.
do this assessment, they use AI, and they have this proprietary way of going, okay, based on your financial situation, your goals, your values, all this stuff, this is the sector, the
You can text
industry, the
back.
vertical you should be in. And within this vertical, these are the brands that align really well. And so it's really cool. It's a great business. And it's sort of in the
I miss
franchise
my
brokerage
razor. My
business, but
razor
it's
was the
like
best. And then I had
they're
a
doing
Crazer, which
incredible
is the
work. So
slender
we had him
razor,
on
man.
for an episode to
And then
share
I
that story. And
transitioned to the
I'm
Blackberry. And then ever
fascinated
since
by
then, I
it.
was
I
like,
think
okay,
they're
I'm spoiled with the
really
keypads now. I'm
keen on what they're
spoiled now. I
doing.
got to be able to see more now. Now my eyes don't work like they used to. So the iPhone brightness is usually up to the max. So it's
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah.
now. They're not around anymore. The BlackBerry was like the best phone ever. BBIM and all that stuff. But yeah, man, this has been great, Will. And I just want to thank you for your time and allowing us to share our story. And man, it's just, I feel like I'm going to be coming back for another episode once I get about 10 more of these units open. Like, Will, it's been working out, man. Well, I got to tell you what we've been cooking up, man. We got some stuff. And so and being able to document the story is going to be great too. But man, I'm just looking forward to the journey. Absolutely.
Amen. Love that. Love that. I can't wait to y'all make your way to the Carolinas. You got plenty of
Man,
opportunity
one
here.
of my last thing I'll say
I'm
before we
sure of
hop off.
that.
When I was in business school, I saw the movie The Founder, the Ray Kroc story, and it's one of my favorite movies to this day because I've never seen the story of restaurants documented in that fashion. And everything that
When
we've
did
gone
you
through this first
graduate
5 years,
Chapel Hill
like
Business
in
School?
business, we're gonna have to make a movie. I've been taking avid notes. I've got
Dude,
videos. It's like nobody's gonna
then you know
believe
Sup Dogs.
what this first 5 years have been like, but also what we're looking like for this next 5 years. So I'm just looking for. I'm doing my best to journal and document and take notes so we can remember these
That's
key
the one
elements
I
of
was
it,
talking about. So
because you
Sup
got to
Dogs
have a
is
great
there,
story. And when
and
you have that, nobody
another
tells these
hot dog
stories of
place
when
came
you're first
down
getting
the, I'm not
started,
going
when
to
you're
say
going.
I
Everybody
know
can see
who it
the
is,
finished
but
result when you're already at the
that's
100
right.
units and the success
That's
is
right.
there. But I'm looking forward to being
The
able to
owner of
share
Sup
this,
Dogs
and
told me,
nobody's
he's
going to
like,
believe it.
we
They're like,
know
wait,
for
you
a
went through it? I
fact
was like,
because their
guys, you don't
employees
even,
told that they were
it
being
was
posted the
unbelievable.
ones
You
that,
had to
and
be
they
there.
never made
You
it. I'll
had to
tell you
be
what,
there. But
man, that's a
man, I'm looking
guy.
forward
If
to
you
it.
ever
And
want to
just
meet
thank you
Brett,
so much
boy,
for it.
I
And I just
tell
truly
you,
appreciate it. I'm about to
that
text you as
Chapel
soon
Hill
as we get off
location
this
does
thing, man.
really, really well, and people camp
Oh, yeah.
out the Duke Carolina game. But their East Carolina, their Greenville, their main location in Greenville at East Carolina. Oh man, I mean that place
Wow.
phenomenal. I mean it's absurd how much business they do, and now they're opening in the Lenovo Center in
For real, man.
Raleigh
Hey, we're
with a
tapped in now, man. You're
way
part of the
more
family now. You're
NC
welcome to
State's
Debo's
basketball
family.
team plays. But
Hey, hey, I'll do
he
you
is
this one thing
if
though.
you go, I'll
If you
tell you
send
what.
me your
Do you know
hoodie
the story of
size,
Sup
I will
Dogs?
get you a hoodie and send it to you.
Dude, oh my gosh. Okay. Go to
Got you, man.
supdogs.com, right? Click on our story. There's a video on there. We made it in 2000.
It's all I wear. But I got you, man. I will get you a
It's
red
the
Debo's hoodie. I
greatest
got you covered, man.
story that we've ever told because and I'm not going to spoil it,
I,
but you will well up halfway through the video. And by the end, you'll be like, yes, cheering. They've had that video on their website since 2017. And Brett tells me that to this day, I mean, I talked to him like a couple weeks ago. My kid goes to East Carolina. He's like, I don't have a week that goes by where somebody doesn't ask me about that video or tell me they love that video. I mean, even they have doggy jams every year where they take a city block in Greenville and block it off and have this big party. Freaking Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Diesel was his like DJ name. He's been up there twice. The first time he came, he told Brett he watched the video on the plane up there and he started crying. And he was like, this is the coolest story I've ever heard. So they have a great story and have worked hard and earned all that success. But that's yeah, man. So I like you know this market, dude. You guys should totally. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill would love some Debes. I
for
am
sure.
sure of that. I am sure of that. Let me do this. I'm going to write down. Well, I guess we have emails from the calendar. Let me give you my cell phone if you want to write it down. Shoot me a text sometime and we'll follow up. Any of these folks I mentioned, whether it be podcast guest or some of those other platforms, you want to get connections. I know the CEOs of all of them well. I trust them like good people, all that. So my cell
I'm
is, go ahead. It's 704. Yep. 906 2031. So see, I'm willing, I put this number out. There's how many thousands of people listen to these episodes, but a lot of people have my number, but I am happy to, I'm still old school, man. I carry this flip phone. I talk on the phone and I do text and like just how I roll. So you
I
can,
miss it.
and I can
I,
text back. Like I don't text really long like text, but
yeah.
I can, it does have like it's like it's like the phones we had in the early 2000s. This is like the
I
old
love
I actually kind of miss my BlackBerry. I like that thing a lot, but they're not around. But Well, I'll tell you what, man, we're like the last film we made literally was the story of Sup Dogs. Like we got
Wow.
on Schedule Fly site, there's a link called Stories, and you'll see a bunch of these videos. And we were getting like more and more professional and longer. Sup Dogs is like 6 minutes long. It's like a short film. But, we stopped making them because my former business partners didn't really see eye to eye with me on the value of building a community through content. And so it wasn't worth me just, going like, you can't do that. Like if you don't all see eye to eye, eventually it's like, okay, well, and I was able to buy them out earlier this year. And so we're going back into that because I like sharing stories. The podcast is one way. We've self-published books about restaurant owners, and I really loved making the films.
Yeah.
I really am a fan of film myself and storytelling through film. So like, this is the kind of thing where you guys eventually, like we come there and we're telling the story of Debo's with your dad and you and where you were and where you are and now where you're going. Like that stuff's magical. I love doing that. So well, I appreciate that and do document that story because I'd love for us to tell it in a badass film one day. But yeah, go watch that Sup Dogs one. And thank you for the time. Good luck getting the car situated there. And I really enjoyed this conversation a lot, Julian. I feel like close, like an old friend already. Send me a
All right.
text, man. I'll take you up on that. I'll to just keep my kids from not stealing it. My college age kids they all
Yeah.
wear hoodies all the time. Appreciate it. All right, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you for listening, everybody. That is a wrap.